I just wish I knew more about guns.
Can we have a civil conversation about firearms?
I'm pro-Second Amendment, all the way. I have kids. Can I have guns in the house?
Guns? Let's talk.
Welcome back to the second hour of Gun Freedom Radio.
Wait. What do you mean second hour?
Second hour.
It's just the second hour, Cheryl. Don't be so technical.
It's the first time we've had 2 hours on the Gun Freedom Radio show. And the crowd goes wild. Confetti is falling from the ceiling. Well, Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We bring you expert interviews, information on the latest in guns and ammo, and real news stories that you won't find on the national news outlets. And we are sponsored by azfirearms.com, the biggest little gun shop in Arizona.
You know what today is?
What's today?
Glock Day.
Okay, don't ever say that again.
No,
Never.
I probably won't have to ever say that again.
You may have to relinquish your microphone.
Hey, it's Glock Day.
What's Glock Day?
Glock Day is where we have a Glock rep at the store. You can go in and have your gun checked out, make sure that it's in tip-top condition. If it's not, they'll fix it for free. While you wait, they'll service the gun and make sure it's ready to go. Also, we're going to have Glock balls there, so get you some Glock balls.
Glock balls.
They're balls with the word Glock on them, Cheryl. Come on.
Okay.
And we have hats and range bags for anyone who buys a new Glock. And we have I think we have every Glock in stock today.
That's fantastic.
So you want to check that out.
All right. Well, we have a super packed hour. And coming up this hour, we are going to be talking with Lars Dalseide of the NRA-ILA, which is the Institute for Legislative Action side of the National Rifle Association. And our weekly Responsibly Armed Citizen Report. We're going to talk to AWR Hawkins of Breitbart News and Dan's Tip of the Week.
Uh-oh. Are we going to really do that?
Yeah, you better be prepared with something good because people are going to stick around and they're going to wait for just that moment.
I've got a hot tip on some ARs, so we will talk about that.
All right, well, let's dive right in. You know, there's many on the left, politically speaking, who seem to want to treat American citizens like children. And there's none more guilty of that than former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Is he a caring, well-meaning big brother? Or the controlling boogeyman who wants to rid America of all our guns and our gun rights? Well,
and soda.
And soda. Yeah. And so on this very topic, we are going to bring Lars Dalseide on because he may have a little bit of insight on that. Lars, are you with us?
I am with you. Glad to be with you guys.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. Tell us a little bit about the ILA, the Institute for Legislative Action. What is that as it pertains to the NRA?
Well, it's an interesting side of the entire operation. I'm talking to you right now from our headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia. And if you're driving along Route 66, you'll see the building there from the road. And you see 6 stories and thinking, wow, there's that big political operation, the scary NRA, some will say.
6 whole stories?
6 whole stories.
Oh,
and the interesting thing about that is that of those 6 stories, the political operation takes up a little bit less than 1 floor.
Wow. My goodness. And they're trying to make you guys, and therefore, because I'm a lifetime member, so I'll say us, trying to make us the boogeyman, right?
Right. And, you know, the other 5 floors, that's for the operation of the services that we give to our members. For the classes that we teach, or the people that are in charge of the classes we teach, the programs we offer, anything from, you know, the basic pistol, basic rifle, basic shotgun, to the small bore competitions, the pistol competitions, to our work with the police department, the law enforcement throughout the U.S., and as well as there's half a floor worth of a museum as well.
Wow. We have got
So when
to
they
get
talk
out
about
there.
what the NRA is, you know, most people think, when you talk about the NRA, most people think of the political side. But
Right.
for what we do and how we operate, there's a whole lot more that the NRA has to offer. Not to say that the political side isn't important,
Well,
especially since that's what I'm doing.
Right, absolutely. Job security, right? But No, I think that what you pointed out is so important because there's this group out there that the Bloomberg is attached to, and it's called Every Town, so it's everybody, right, for gun safety. But you just talked about a ton of different safety classes and educational programs and on and on. So really, who is for gun safety?
Yeah, the gun safety thing has always had it's caused me a little bit of concern, a little bit of problem. People thinking that they're actually going to learn something about safety from Every Town for Gun Safety. Mm-hmm. The fact is, while we're here, we have over 100,000 instructors teaching more than 1 million people gun safety every year.
Wow.
I don't think that they're actually teaching anybody anything. Every Town for Gun Safety is about gun control. There is nothing safety-wise that they ever put forth in any proposals and any solutions or any sort of classes. So just because people say safety doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to tell you anything about safety.
Right. It's so ironic to me that they would choose that as their name because, they want you to think that they're for gun safety, but they're really for restrictions of every kind that I can think of. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. It's a classic thing. If you ever watch the Sunday morning talk shows, and since I grew up here in D.C. and I work on the political side, Sunday morning talk shows are part of my usual diet. Mm-hmm. You will see that the interviewer will sit down, the host will sit down, and he'll ask somebody a question, and they'll give an answer, but the answer doesn't really have much to do with the question that was just asked.
I have noticed that. It's like, what? They should make them, no, you're not going to leave here until you actually answer the question that I asked, because that's really, as a viewer, that's what I want to know. They get off on these rabbit trails.
Yeah, and that's the classic example of what they do with just the naming of their group. Just because that's what the name of the group is doesn't mean it has anything to do with it.
Well, sure, Lars. So that would mean okay, they want to if they abolish all the guns, then it would be safe because there would be no guns, right? Is that their safety that they're talking about?
Well, it's something like when Hillary Clinton recently, she talked about the possibility of the U.S. adopting Arizona, in Australia. I get the A's mixed up. Mm-hmm. They're searching for an Australian buyback type solution. And the problem with that is people think, Australia, that's a place that's kind of like the U.S. They speak English down there, similar setup, and the government and all that. Sure, why? Mm-hmm. They don't realize that Australia didn't do a buyback. They did a confiscation. Mm-hmm. Because first and foremost, anytime, I love when I read about these, like there's going to be a gun buyback happening in this neighborhood or that neighborhood, or there's one going on they're planning in Chicago sometime soon. Buyback suggests that they own the guns in the first place.
I know. That has always bothered me.
Yeah, buyback. That's right.
But I'm a word nerd, so I think about what things really mean, right? So, I want to talk a little bit, before we run out of time, about this Bloomberg guy. Like, what is the real reason behind his fascination with restricting our gun rights? I mean, I don't think it's about safety, because we just talked about how they're not offering any safety classes or courses. So what does he stand to gain by spending so much of his own money?
Well, Michael Bloomberg, he's always been one that, if you look at his record as the mayor of New York, he's been all about restrictions, about imposing some sort of a nanny state in which others should follow his lead and do what he wants. Not necessarily what he does, because Lord knows he has plenty of armed security around him.
Right.
For those of us who can't afford to have armed security, that's not really that big of a problem as far as he's concerned. But, when you're taking advice from somebody who, he was restricting the size of sodas, he was banning styrofoam, he was banning black tar roofs, he was banning black roofs of all types throughout New York City. I mean, there was all sorts of things that Bloomberg comes up with. And this has just become his pet project ever since the days of mayors against, whatever they were against, but they were against a lot of things. And that group only went so far. When he no longer was a mayor, he spent $50 million, did a facelift, and came up with moms demand action in every town for gun safety.
Mm-mm. Well, I read an article in the New York Times recently that said he's going to spend $50 million to challenge specifically your 6-story building and all the people in it, the NRA. He thinks he's going to take on the NRA specifically.
Well, and we definitely read those same reports, but the thing that most people don't realize, they think that the NRA spends a lot of money on politicians, and that's why we're successful. Now, our last campaign cycle, I believe that there was about $28 million spent nationwide.
Wow.
Nationwide. So we're not spending anywhere near as much as Michael Bloomberg is out there throwing off to his candidates. The real difference in the NRA and why we are successful and why we have the type of victories that we've had recently is because of our members. Mm-hmm. The 5+ million members of the NRA, as well as all the supporters up there who unfortunately haven't decided to join up just yet. But these people are devoted to the issue. Mm-hmm. So if there's an opportunity to do something, they do it. They make the phone calls, they send the emails, they'll go out and knock on doors, and they'll get people out there to the polls to vote on these variety of issues. And that's the thing that no matter how much money you spend, you can't really duplicate. It's the passion.
I agree with that 100%. And I'm so glad to have had a chance to talk to you today about some of these things. And I hope you'll come back on in the future because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about.
I'd love to. Oh,
I appreciate it. As we move through this political cycle, this election cycle, it's going to be really interesting to watch how things go. But we talk about how much of his own money he's spending. A friend of mine says, you know what? He's a businessman. I bet he owns stock in gun companies.
Oh, wouldn't that be quite the irony?
Oh, wouldn't it, though? That should be on the cover of one of those magazines you see as you're checking out at the grocery store. But anyway, you didn't hear it from me. So anyway, Lars, thank you so much. Enjoy your afternoon in your 6-story building, and we will be in touch soon.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks you so much. Bye-bye. All right. Still to come, our weekly Responsibly Armed Citizen Report, where we bring you the news stories that you won't hear from the national news organizations. AWR Hawkins from Breitbart News is coming up, and Dan's Tip of the Week, right? And what if we told you that danger can be waiting for us just about anywhere? Church, cafe, maybe the neighbor's dog? We're going to talk about those things coming up next.
The Seth Leibsohn Show, where it's principles, not politics.
This is not the time for moral equivalence. Not in a war against terror, not in a war for the West, not in a war for common sense. Stand with the one democracy in the entire region, our ally in the entire region, and denounce terrorism and be clear about it. And maybe, just maybe, if you stop focusing on their claims based on frauds and lies, maybe, just maybe, you'll quit encouraging those acts of terror based on those frauds and those lies.
Weekday nights from 9 to 11 p.m.
For straight shooting, look to the biggest little gun shop in the West, azfirearms.com, where they have everything you need to be a safe and responsible gun owner. Huge selection and a friendly and knowledgeable staff. They're my nationwide hometown gun shop, and you should make it yours too. And when you go, tell them old Don Collier sent you.
Come in for AZ Firearms' huge gun buying event taking place now until the end of the month. From single items to entire collections, AZ Firearms pays you the highest values for your guns. Long guns, handguns, military, western, even your old brass and ammo. We buy it all. Find us online at azfirearms.com. That's azfirearms.com. Or visit us off I-10 at Dysart Road at 215 Western Avenue in historic Avondale. Don't miss the AZ Firearms huge gun buying event now through the end of the month. Check us out online at azfirearms.com or stop on by. AZ Firearms, the largest small gun shop in Arizona.
A graphic designer is wanted in Chandler, Arizona to create designs for concepts, layouts, and labels for industrial materials for food packaging industry using knowledge FDA and international food labeling standards, ink compatibility with direct and indirect food contact, Photoshop, Illustrator, Acrobat, ESCO modeling software in AutoCAD 2D and 3D, and ESCO Render Creator. aluminum foil printing using flexography, rotogravure, and offset litho. A bachelor's degree plus experience is required. Send resumes to Valentin Ochoa Acosta, Phoenix Packaging Operations, LLC, 464 East Chilton Drive, Chandler, Arizona, 85225. Again, send resumes to Valentin Ochoa Acosta, Phoenix Packaging Operations, LLC, 464 East Chilton Drive, Chandler, Arizona, 85225.
When you're working hard to beat debt, you got to think of creative ways to get your income up. Here's an idea. Sell some stuff at auction. Start with locally owned and operated potofgoldestate.com. The owners, Dan and Cheryl Todd, have over 60 years of combined experience in selling antiques, collectibles, guns, coins, and jewelry. And over their many years in business, they've earned the trust of hundreds just like you. Whether you're saving for a rainy day emergency fund or paying down debt, let potofgoldestate.com help you get the extra cash you need. Potofgoldestate.com will purchase your items outright, or you can consign them to their twice-a-month online auction. Pot of Gold's nationwide online auction is a great place to get top dollar for your collectibles. They specialize in everything from antiques, household items, to cars, boats, guns, and more at potofgoldestate.com. Or visit them off I-10 and Dysart Road in historic Avondale for some live auction action. For more, visit potofgoldestate.com. potofgoldestate.com.
Check out the Seth Leibson Show podcast page at 960thepatriot.com, where you can replay every minute of every show. The Seth Leibson Show, where it's principles, not politics. Weekdays from 9 to 11 p.m. on Intelligent Talk 960 The Patriot.
Got an iPhone, BlackBerry, or smartphone? Download the Patriot app for your phone. Just go to your app store or log on to 960thepatriot.com today. 960 The Patriot.
Welcome back to Gun Freedom Radio. Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, educate, and inform. And we are sponsored by azfirearms.com, the biggest little gun shop in Arizona. And they're having something special going on out there today, aren't they, Dan?
Yes, it's Glock Day.
No,
I'm not going to say it the same way.
I told you. Don't.
No, I'm not. It's Glock
Actually,
Day.
I got a text right after that. They said, what day is it?
We've only got a couple more hours. You need to go down and check that out.
Very good. Glock Day out at azfirearms.com, 215 East Western Avenue in Avondale. And they're going to be giving a Glock away. They've got an armor out there, replacing any worn parts in your current Glock. If you buy a new Glock, they've got some special goodies for you, a hat and a range bag, a lot of cool stuff. Give them a call.
And the newest Glocks out there are going to be there today. So
very good. What's the number?
623-925-2345.
All right. Very good. Well, we have a big show. We have talked to some amazing people. And now we're going to bring you the Responsibly Armed Citizen Report.
Fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.
So we think that anybody that has responsibly armed themselves and they've taken their training and they're, doing all they can to keep themselves and their family safe, really are fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. And usually in this segment, we'll play a news clip. But today, I wanted to talk about a specific article, and I just posted it on the Gun Freedom Radio Facebook page, so you can kind of follow along if you like. It highlights 7 times, just in like the past week, where guns have been used to protect lives and stop potential murders. And that's just in the last week, and it's probably more this week than those big stories that you're going to hear on the national news, where they only tell us when a gun can be painted as a problem, where a gun is handled by a villain. We never hear the stories about the hero came in. And not that we want people out there acting like heroes, because sometimes that leads to unsafe situations, but there are things that happen every single day where a responsibly armed person safely handles their firearm in such a way that they save lives. And we don't hear those. We only hear when lives are in danger.
Yeah, why is that so? Why aren't we hearing about the 500,000 people that have actually saved someone's life or stopped a crime?
You know, it's frustrating to me because we're looking for stories. And if we aren't hearing them, then the average citizen most likely isn't going to stumble on them either. And I'll tell you, this article that I chose it for a couple of reasons. One is because we trust the site that posted it. John R. Lott's site, he has the Crime Prevention Research Center, and he's a calm, knowledgeable, logical voice out there amongst a lot of the angry voices and teeth gnashing. And I'm not saying that we don't have plenty of rights and reasons, those of us that value our Second Amendment rights and feel like they're constantly being infringed on and just taken away one grain of sand at a time. But John just has such a rational way of doing good science and presenting factual, statistical information rather than what we're seeing so much of. They call it junk science, where the anti-Second Amendment people, they'll just pick the parameters that they want to pull out so that they prove their own point, and then want to pat themselves on the back that they were right all along. Well, they've left out a bunch of information, and John is honest about it, and he puts all the information in and lets the facts speak for themselves.
So like Geraldo Rivera, saying that no gun has ever stopped a crime?
Well, that's the other reason that I chose this article, because I've seen him being quoted as saying that. And also this Shannon Watts, who's in the Moms Demand Action. It's one of the Bloomberg anti-gun groups that we were just talking with Lars Dalseide from the NRA-ILA about. And she has said there's never been a circumstance where a good guy stopped a bad guy with a gun. I think that's a quote on unquote.
How could she even say that? Where's she getting that information?
The only thing I can figure is that maybe the minute you have a gun in your hand, you're no longer a good guy. That's what I think.
Only to the criminal.
Right. So
Come on.
Because honestly, it's dishonest to even make those statements, or completely uninformed. And I don't think either one of these people could be that uninformed. And so that's a couple of reasons why I wanted to bring this article out and just talk about the fact that danger can be waiting for us just about anywhere and at just about any time of day. And so when we look across these headlines, there's one that happened in church. There's one that happened just hanging out in downtown Reno. Now, I haven't been to downtown Reno. I don't think that's a necessarily bad area of town. There was one that happened. You're sitting in your local cafe, right? One happened there. And at work, it can happen. So one happens where a tow truck, okay, easy for me to say, tow truck driver is doing his job. He needs to remove a vehicle. It's around midnight. Unfortunately, that's when these things usually end up happening. Well, the owner of the car follows him and wants to do him harm, but the tow truck driver was responsibly armed, and he stopped that, the attempt on his life by this person. So, people want to say, why on earth would you ever need a gun in church, right? Well, look what happened in South Carolina, where a guy walked into a Bible study. Well, this pastor, that this past week, a brick-wielding assailant was killed by the pastor because this guy came into a church and he was threatening, and it didn't just happen that day. There was a history of it there. And you're walking down the street, you're having your morning walk, and here comes the neighbor's dog or a neighborhood dog who's aggressive and is attacking you. What if you don't have your firearm? What do you do in that situation? Well, this guy did have a firearm, and he was able to protect himself and maybe neighborhood children.
But no gun has ever stopped a crime? I'm lost on that. I don't even know how to respond to that.
Right. Well, that's why we want to bring these stories out. We want to talk about them. We want to make you aware that You don't have to be, constantly expecting, bad guys.
I got it. They're saying no gun has ever stopped a crime. The guy holding the gun stopped the crime, so they use that. If there's a crime with a gun, they say it's the gun's fault. But if it's stopping a crime, it's the guy that stopped it, not the gun.
That was a maze you just gave me to work through. Maybe. I'll think about that. All right. Well, we have a lot more in store during this, our second hour of Gun Freedom Radio. And ladies, if anyone is thinking of getting a firearm for personal protection, you might want to hear this next story. There's a Miami law professor, a woman herself, claiming that we ladies aren't capable of using guns effectively. So stick around for that. And AWR Hawkins of Breitbart News and Dan's Tip of the Week coming up next.
Hi, folks. I'm Don Collier. If you're looking for the biggest little gun shop in the West, look to azfirearms.com. They have 1,100 guns in stock and a knowledgeable staff to help you find just the right firearm for you. azfirearms.com is my nationwide hometown gun shop, and you should make it yours, too.
Come in for AZ Firearms' huge gun buying event taking place now until the end of the month. From single items to entire collections, AZ Firearms pays you the highest values for your guns. Long guns, handguns, military, western, even your old brass and ammo. We buy it all. Find us online at azfirearms.com. That's azfirearms.com. Or visit us off I-10 at Dysart Road at 215 Western Avenue in historic Avondale. Don't miss the AZ Firearms huge gun buying event now through the end of the month. Check us out online at azfirearms.com or stop on by. AZ Firearms, the largest small gun shop in Arizona.
American Vision Windows is Arizona's one-stop shop for windows and doors, with over 70,000 customers and over 600,000 windows installed.
We are honored to be the only window installation company in Arizona with our own custom-designed window for the extreme Arizona climate.
American Vision Windows' exclusive Arizona package is tailored to the harsh desert climate and is the industry's leading energy-efficient window.
We created a window based on our first-hand experience with the perfect balance of beauty and protection from the extreme Arizona heat and dust.
The Arizona package is beautiful, has better glass, best vinyl, and a lifetime guarantee.
Which means a more comfortable home for you and your family, all while saving money on your energy bills.
And for a limited time, you'll receive free upgrade to American Vision Windows' exclusive Arizona package with free upgrade to triple pane glass and free expert installation. Wow! Call 480-619-5707. 480-619-5707. ROC number 267599.
Hey everybody, this is Joey Rocket Shoes Dillon, world champion gunslinger and Hollywood gun coach. In the Westerns, there's always a good guy and a bad guy, and sometimes the ugly guy. And I always root for the good guy, which is why I'm here to tell you about the good folks over at azfirearms.com. They are straight shooters and always give you the best deal in town. azfirearms.com is the biggest little gun shop in Arizona and have something for every single gun enthusiast. Long guns, pistols, hunting, military, law enforcement, home protection, you name it. And when you've got some guns to sell or trade in and trade up, azfirearms.com are the folks to see. Geez, they bought a cannon once. They are family-owned and operated, friendly staff, courteous, totally reliable. azfirearms.com will give you the best value for your used guns. So stop in, see my friends Dan and Cheryl Todd at azfirearms.com in Old Town Avondale off the I-10 and Dysart Road and tell them Joey Rocket Shoes Dillon sent you.
Introducing the YMCA. What, you already know the why? Or so you think. Sure, you know the why for a swim, a workout, even a game of hoops. But did you know we're more than that? We're a cause. When you take your jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Take a cardio class, while kids are in an after-school enrichment program. Practice your downward-facing dog as a teen practices her leadership skills. That's the why. We work with people no matter their age, income, or background and give them the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive, all with one simple goal in mind, to strengthen our community. And we've got so much more that does just that. So while you might think of the Y as that place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. Introducing the Y. We're so much more than a place. We're a cause. Visit ymca.net/more.
Welcome back to Gun Freedom Radio. We engage, educate, and inform, and we are sponsored by azfirearms.com, the biggest little gun shop in Arizona.
We've been talking about Glock Day all day today, and I just want to make sure that you bring your guns in to have them service checked out, and we also take trades. So if you have that gun sitting around doing nothing, come get a brand new Glock.
Fantastic. I love that. Plus, we're doing a drawing for a brand new Glock. So lots of super cool stuff going on. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret. I kind of always liked it that women were referred to as the weaker sex. I know that's not the popular thing. That's not the, what do they call themselves?
Sure doesn't happen around my house.
Well, I really do, because I like chivalry. I like it when a man opens a door for me. I like to be treated like a lady. And here's the real secret. I kind of like it when people underestimate me. It's kind of like my little secret weapon. And it makes me a pretty decent poker player, to be honest with you. And I can't believe I just let everybody know that, because now they'll see me coming, where before they were like, well, she's so cute. She just doesn't really know what she's... Well, my point is that there's an article from Breitbart dated just this past week, October 21st. It's actually written by AWR Hawkins, who's going to be on in the next segment talking with us. He's quoting the Herald Tribune out of Miami, Florida, where there is a law professor who is a woman herself, okay? And she says that women can't use guns effectively.
Wow.
Right? So that is not what I want somebody to refer to me as being the weaker sex.
We missed part of the sentence. Maybe women can't use guns effectively to make a cake? Or what are we missing here?
All right. Well, in fairness, what she's trying to say is the studies that she's talking about, I think it's about sexual assault and rape, and that you're already in a compromised position and a vulnerable position by the time you realize you're in a problem. And so how are you going to protect yourself with a firearm? I think that is her point. And I'm trying to be really, really fair to her and at least give her that. But even the way she writes her article kind of cracks me up, because she says studies done by many, many professionals have shown that it is really, really unlikely for anyone to use a gun effectively in self-defense, especially in cases of sexual assault. So I'm glad that she's so scientific that she's...
Has to double her words.
Yeah, many, many, and really, really.
I say wow, wow.
Wow, wow. So the good news is that there is some really solid evidence to refute that. And not only do I personally believe this, but the census that was taken between 92 and 2002, that's a 10-year period, okay? In that census, there were 2,000 people that were interviewed that disclosed that they had been raped or sexually assaulted, and there could be a much larger number. We don't know, but that's the 2,000 that did come forward to say that. Of that 2,000, there were 26 people who volunteered that they used a firearm to resist that sexual assault or rape. And Dan, how many of these 26 would you think were able to stop the rape?
I'm going to say half.
Okay, half. I mean, that sounds fair, right? What if I told you that every single one of those 26 people were able to effectively use their firearm to stop the assault in its tracks, and no further harm came to them the minute they produced that firearm?
Wow.
Exactly. So
I'll say wow again for her.
wow, right? So, I think there's a well-meaning academic thought process out there, but then in the real world, this is what's really happening. And so you used, just very quickly, you were talking before the show about a woman with a flat tire.
Yeah, so a lady goes on a trip to California, and she has a flat tire. She has no jack. Well, they can't She can't fix a tire. A woman can't change a tire, right? If you taught the woman how to use the jack, or anybody how to use the jack and change the tire themselves,
and she had a jack with her,
then she could change that tire.
I think that's a great analogy to think about. So we got a lot more coming up, and AWR Hawkins is going to be here. They had a meetup, their very first meetup with the Breitbart News people. A lot of public came out, like-minded people talking about gun rights and politics, and we want a wrap up from him and hear how all of that went. We also have Dan's tip of the week coming up. You got a good one, Dan? Because people are waiting.
I'm looking.
They stuck around this whole hour waiting.
Well, yeah, I've got one.
All right, fantastic. Well, stick around. We're going to be right back with more Gun Freedom Radio.
Mike Gallagher is tired of the gun control rhetoric.
If Chris had not been able to get a hold of 13 guns, it wouldn't have happened.
Empty rhetoric. And my heart goes out to this father and the mother because their son will forever be known as the monster who killed innocent people. Stop blaming the gun, the inanimate object, for the evilness of the creature.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekday mornings at 6, right before Dennis Prager at 9, on Intelligent Talk 960, The Patriot.
It's time to practice your because Arizona's biggest Western event, the Wild Western Festival, rides into Glendale Saguaro Ranch Park October 23rd through the 25th. Don't miss the event that True West Magazine voted the best Wild West show in the U.S. 3 years in a row. So we're shooting. There's Wild West performers, stunt shows, trick horses, and a special appearance by world champion gunspinner Pistol Pack Impala. And a chance to win a Harley-Davidson motorcycle on Sunday. Meet Hollywood movie stars. Enjoy live music, Native American dancers, magic shows, artisans, crafters, festival food, treats, and ice-cold Coors beer. A kids' corral, country fair games, ice cream and pie eating contest, and much more. Custom Cooling and Plumbing proudly presents Dr. Buck's 10th Annual Wild Western Festival, Saguaro Ranch Park, 59th Avenue between Olive and Peoria, October 23rd through the 25th. WildWesternFestival.com, sponsored by Desert Roast Steakhouse, Brass Armadillo, and Pot of Gold Auctions. Don't make me come and get you.
The future of freedom is now, and there's one person unafraid to take us there.
Maybe Mitt Romney had to lose, and maybe we had to give Republicans one more chance in 2014, and maybe Mitch McConnell and John Boehner had to betray us once again.
Ann Coulter.
We are destroying the country if we don't cut this immigration off, both legal and illegal.
Where is America headed, and how did we get here? Ann Coulter and Hugh Hewitt, a special one-night event, including a special Q&A panel of Arizona congressional leaders, moderated by Hugh Hewitt and Arizona Republican Chairman Robert Graham. November 12th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now at 960thepatriot.com. Limited seating, including exclusive VIP meet and greet tickets before the event that include the best seats in the House. The biggest political event of 2015. The Future of Freedom Tour, sponsored by Guns Etc. On sale now at 960thepatriot.com.
When you're working hard to beat debt, you got to think of creative ways to get your income up. Here's an idea. Sell some stuff at auction. Start with locally owned and operated potofgoldestate.com. The owners, Dan and Cheryl Todd, have over 60 years of combined experience in selling antiques, collectibles, guns, coins, and jewelry. And over their many years in business, they've earned the trust of hundreds just like you. Whether you're saving for a rainy day emergency fund or paying down debt, let potofgoldestate.com help you get the extra cash you need. Potofgoldestate.com will purchase your items outright, or you can consign them to their twice-a-month online auction. Pot of Gold's nationwide online auction is a great place to get top dollar for your collectibles. They specialize in everything from antiques, household items, to cars, boats, guns, and more at potofgoldestate.com. Or visit them off I-10 and Dysart Road in historic Avondale for some live auction action. For more, visit potofgoldestate.com. potofgoldestate.com.
If you're looking for the latest videos, audio, and articles from the top political minds from around the country, like Jonah Goldberg, Thomas Sowell, Michelle Malkin, and many more, then The Patriot has you covered. Just log on to 960thepatriot.com today.
Looking to know what's up on the Dennis Prager Show? Like 960 The Patriot on Facebook for daily show updates.
Welcome back to Gun Freedom Radio. We engage, we educate, and we inform. And we are sponsored by azfirearms.com, the biggest little gun shop in Arizona, out in Avondale, Arizona. And we want to dive right in. We've got AWR Hawkins of Breitbart News on the line. Are you there?
Yes, I am, Cheryl.
Welcome back to the show. You were on with us, I think it was just last week, kind of telling us what was about to happen with the meetup. And now we want to hear how it went. And first of all, what is a meetup?
It's just kind of a gathering Breitbart's trying to have around the country, different cities around the country where bring together different conservatives and not just the people who speak, but just conservatives, grassroots conservatives. Give them a place where they can unite, network, exchange cards, and try to unify more in purpose, if that's possible, kind of in a Tea Party-like fashion to get us ready for 2016.
I love that. And I so wanted to be there, but it fell on my son-in-law's birthday, and we had this big family thing planned, so I couldn't get out there. So I was dying to know, how did it go? What did you have a ton of people show up? Did you have a speaker? Like, how did you fashion it?
We had a good turnout. We had about 200 people, and
wow,
which is good. And you had Brandon Darby spoke on border issues. He's one of my colleagues. He, of course, is the managing director of Breitbart, Texas, and he spoke on border issues. Then I spoke on Second Amendment issues, and actually I spoke first. But then after that, it's just a time to mingle, and so that was good. And then the following night we did the same thing in Nashville. I went to Nashville and spoke Thursday, and spoke with my colleague Michael Patrick Leahy, and again I spoke on Second Amendment issues. He spoke basically, he's kind of on liberty in a broad spectrum, and then we had a question and answer session that just phenomenal. The Nashville meeting was really off the charts. So
that's awesome. So the public that came out, did you have any dissenting voices? I mean, did you have anybody in the crowd that was trying to pull the conversation in a negative direction, or did you mostly have intelligent, well-informed people trying to add to the conversation?
Yeah, no, I mean we had some dissenters in Scottsdale who were not part of our group, but our group was so big. I mean, it was good, and in Nashville it was the same deal. That the people that are there because they're interested in conservatism and furthering that, and it went good. I mean, the feedback has been tremendous, and these are actually the third. The one in Nashville was the third one. The one in Scottsdale the second, and in September our first one was in Indianapolis. Wow. So we have 3 under our belt now, and we're going to try to, keep that going. But I'm not the one planning it. I'm just the one that says yes if they ask me to speak. So I've basically exhausted my knowledge.